If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. I know we're talking about Donda 2 and the stem player quite a lot over the past 2 weeks, especially also on my channel, but it's just a very interesting time in hip-hop, just considering that Kanye dropped a new album, did these release parties, and also concerning the stem player technology and the intentions behind it. So today, I wanted to go a little bit into what the stem player can still do for the future of just music releases, what Kanye's intentions with it were, and how people are, of course, now, not everybody's buying the stem player. Most of the people that are listening to Donda 2 have somehow gotten it through MP3s or on SoundCloud. Me, myself, I've worked my way around the stem player website where there's a gate where you need to connect your stem player by using an emulator so that I could still listen to the tracks on the website. So, people are getting these tracks from all different kinds of places, but still, Kanye had a very clear intention in mind when creating and putting his new album Donda 2 on the stem player, and that is obviously, when you go check his Instagram, to free music from this oppressive system, as he called it. Let's take a look at what he said on his Instagram, I think it's more than a week ago when we went over this, but this is the key to understanding what the stem player can also do for the future of music. So let's look at this post that he said. He said, Donda 2 will only be available on my own platform, the stem player, not on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or YouTube. Today, artists get just 12% of the money the industry makes. It's time to free music from this oppressive system. It's time to take control and build our own. Go to stemplayer.com to order yours. So his intention behind this is to free the music and the artists behind it from the system of, first of all, record labels who only give artists a very small percentage and a very small cut of the money that they make off of the artist's music, which has been a problem for a very long time, and an issue that I've talked about on this channel quite a bit in the past already. I have, spoken out and said that I really support any artist going independent, and I'm, trying to support these artists and listen to their music even more, because the industry has really evolved into the system of, putting out these record label contracts where artists get $2-3 million in advance, but then, they blow it all on, cars and jewelry and all that because they think they're rich now, and then they still need to cover the costs for their debut project that they have under the label by themselves. And in the end, they go broke and they don't do, the sales expectations that they thought they would do, don't have a long-lasting career, and at some point just fall off and become financially unstable again. So this is really like a vicious cycle that the industry has created. There are, of course, these, personalities like a Russ, for example, who is famous and braggadocious about being independent, that have worked their way out of this and that have negotiated really good deals. I'm thinking about Mac Miller as well, who stayed independent for a very long time before signing a major record label deal. Of course, before that, Rostrum Records and stuff like that had some ties to him, but still, he also played this very well. He knew his worth as an artist and knew he had a fan base that he could still make money off of in the decades to come, and then waited until a record label gave him full creative control over his music and own his masters. That's another important thing, to own the music and not have the label own the music, because then later on you're still going to make money off of performance and mechanical royalties whenever your music is being played somewhere, around the world, which is a very important factor, that the money doesn't go to the label but rather to the artist himself. That's something that I think is very important. So Kanye is trying to, first of all, free artists and the music from that, but second of all, also from the streaming platforms, who very famously only pay artists a very small amount of money from, the money that they actually make off of the music. Now, streaming platforms live off of subscriptions, so they need to have these artists on their platform so that the platform is somewhat attractive to a, potential customer, and the customer then pays a monthly payment to listen to the music, but doesn't actually pay for the individual tracks and music itself, like we did back in the iTunes and, MP3 player days, where the music itself still had that, value attached to it, that monetary value, but today it's just kind of content that is being played on these streaming platforms. And streaming is obviously, the biggest form of listening to music. Rarely anyone goes out there and still buys albums. Only from the very big artists that still do, physical sales and album sales as totals, but any artist coming up, they get most of their traffic and most of their traction from streaming services, including SoundCloud, YouTube, and all of that. Obviously, I made a video a couple of months ago going over the rates that certain streaming services pay artists, and we went over those, and you could tell that they were really not that big. And to make even a little bit of money, you need to have a huge amount of streams on there. So I like that Kanye is also battling that and maybe putting some pressure on these streaming services to pay artists more fairly. And of course, there are also movements out there that are trying to get these, to get these big organizations to further compensate the artist more fairly. Now, all of this Kanye wanted to attack with the stem player. Now, obviously, a lot of people, as I already said, pirate the music, and Kanye should have seen this coming, but I do think that the stem player is an important factor moving forward into the future. I still believe that for someone as big of an artist as Kanye to do this is a great step in terms of, freeing the music industry and making these artists less of slaves out there. In this case, I don't think it was done, perfectly and ideally, because you needed to purchase this $200 product that, not everybody's going to pay $200 just to listen to an album. Only like the diehard Kanye fans have done this. I'm planning on buying one, but, I'm not expecting anyone to buy this. But I think that, introducing innovation and technology into the music industry is a great way, and the way that the stem player works is just, to me, it's really, impressive. You can like dissect the individual tracks. I get the technology behind it, but just have a product like that out there where you can then download your Kanye albums onto and dissect the individual tracks into bass, drums, and then vocals, and also the melodies. I think that's dope. I think that's innovation that we need to see in music, and it shows that we're also going somewhere in this industry. So I hope that in the future we're gonna get these introductory level products that allow artists to distribute their music more fairly and make more money off of it, at least a fairly compensated amount of money at a lower price, so that the entry into this new world of music releases is more easily accessible. I could see this become a really big thing with NFTs, for example, where artists can put out their music in forms of NFTs, and people pay for the music to then own the music again and not just have it on streaming. That's another really important factor. Meek Mill has planned on doing this. I don't think he's done this yet. Tory Lanez has done this, for example, though, and I think that's moving really great. And people make money off of the music, and the artist is also making money off of the music. It's a win-win for both sides. So that's kind of where I see the future of music, and I hope that we see more development in terms of that. But I do think that the stem player is a great first step, even if it's not perfect. That's my thoughts on this, my theories, and my opinions. Now I want to know what you think about this. Where do you see the music industry, especially in the way that music is distributed in terms of NFTs and in terms of, stem player products and innovation and stuff like that? Do you think, kind of like me, and see this direction is actually the future, or do you think it's going to be completely different and this is only like a temporary wave? All of that, let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and you'll take care.